God's beauty is shown in our ugliest moments. And that's what I call a masterpiece. Your next move be your best move, on God. That's for real like the Neptunes, on God. No ego, cause I gotta say God like the Migos, on God. It's the best move if you ain't talking about that, God bless you, on God. Like an ego, cause I gotta say God like the Migos. Famalam, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? Welcome to God Made Dirt, the podcast, or shall I say welcome back, man. It's you, you are now rocking with two Guys Made Dirt, man, and that's me, Marcel B, the MC, God Made Dirt, on God Video, shameless plug, make sure you go check that out. And then the code breaker himself, Tarmel Daniel, man. What up, bro?
Yo, what's happening, man? It's me and you. Let's do it.
You know what it is. So we gonna be straight transparent off top, man. The enemy tried to do everything he could to stop us from doing this catch-up episode, man.
You know what's crazy? He's actually been on that same task since we started.
Yep.
God Made Dirt.
True story.
And it's funny because when we first started God Made Dirt, we didn't have our studio yet. Now we got our own podcast studio. Shout out to Ambassador Studios. You know what I mean? Ambassador with the M, not the A.
Right.
AmbassadorStudios.com. You can check us out and book and come in and do your own thing. But what's crazy is from the very beginning, bro. Now, I probably have done 30 podcasts now.
Right.
Like 30 of them. None of them is this tough.
Right.
None of them. So it's got to be something in this message, man. So I'm gonna let you get into it because I know I tonight I was like, I don't care about the malfunctions, even if it turned into a call in only. The people need this, so the people gonna get it tonight.
For sure, man. True story, all facts, man. Look, y'all know it's the podcast where we have real conversations behind the curtain of religion. The stuff that the church is too religious to talk about, or the world is scared to talk about, we're gonna talk about it. Y'all know what we do, man. So we're gonna hop right into it. So as we catch up off top, because we ain't gonna be with y'all long, man. We want to just get in, get out, because this is just the beginning for the ramp up. You dig? The reboot. Yep. You know what I'm saying? And I do want to say shout out to Nice Media. That's family to us, and they actually helped us make this a real thing. You dig? So shout out to Peaches, shout out to Pastor B. That's fam over there. You dig?
And we still tag teaming, and we're gonna combine it and put it all together and still make it super dope. Yeah,
for sure. Still gonna collaborate and partner up. So, man, what you been up to, bro? You already said you've been 30 podcasts. What else been going on, bro?
That's it, man. I've God made it possible for me to hop into my lane really full time. Just creating and putting things together and producing opportunities for others, man. So I'm finally stepping into where I need to be on a full-time basis. So that wrap up has just been crazy, bro.
That's fire, bro. That's fire. And if anybody that knows us know that we collaborate on just everything. So I know what you've been up to, but I definitely want the people to know that, man. And it's just been dope to see you step into that place of dominance, and to dominate at providing opportunities for others is truly a gift. You know what I'm saying? That's fire. You know what I'm saying? That's real fire.
Well, so it's not us dominating, it's us walking in him, faith. You know what I'm saying? Just 100% faith. And so when you do that, he always show up. And matter of fact, if you walk into something and it don't feel too big, then that means you're not walking in him. It needs to feel so big that it can't be you.
Yep.
Period.
It got to strike fear off top. Like if your dream doesn't scare you, it's not big enough.
Yeah, it's got to test you. It's got to make you feel like, can I do this?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Even sometimes 2-3 times a day.
Yeah.
That's how big it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Man, along the same lines, I felt like this year was the year for me to take my creativity and just hit another level, more than just being an artist, but being able to spread my creative insight across multiple lanes. You know, being able to replicate it. If I could develop a formula for the creativity and it be able to replicate, that's when I'm truly being creative. So it's almost like my the fact that I'm in the teaching ministry, right? So it's like the
Yep.
creative side combined with the teaching ministry, and it's been that for me, man. It's been an uphill battle, man. Like for
Oh yeah.
me personally, man. Like my wife lost her favorite aunt a little
Mhm.
over a week ago, about a week and a half ago.
Sorry about
Rest in peace, Aunt Lynn. And then we just learned last night that my mother-in-law lost her dog, Lucky. So that's all within a week. So
that.
when it says that that persecution comes with a hundredfold and trials and tribulations, man, it's a real thing, you know.
Yep.
As you walk through and get breakthrough and hit new levels, you know what I'm saying? You are not immune to tragedy and heartache and struggle. Those things happen.
Let me ask you a question then, because I know what I understand is like even in this season, it's a season of celebration and family, but a lot of people struggle during this season.
Yeah.
Because it brings about a lot of sadness. So spiritually, how are you guys doing through this season?
So so if it's fun. All right, so let me walk you through it. So to me, this started about 2 years ago when our son um was shot in the hospital for about 85 days, right? He was in ICU for like over 60 days, right? So when that happened to him, I felt like that was the most my faith was ever tested, but it really just grew me. It pulled me closer to God, right? Because
Okay.
even during that, I read man, the book by Bishop by TD Jakes. Oh man, I cannot remember the name of the song of the book
Is it
right
the crushing? Is it the
now. The Crushing,
crushing?
the Crushing.
It is
Thank
the
you,
crushing.
thank
I
you. The
remember. Okay.
Crushing. I started that book during that time,
Okay.
right? And I
Yeah.
finished it during that time.
Okay.
So it gave me clarity on what life's crushing does to you, right?
Yep.
So it prepared my heart and my mind and my spirit for any just crazy time, right? So if you fast forward, this was before the pandemic, right?
Right.
So
Right.
you fast
Wow.
forward the pandemic and seeing my family lose close ones during to COVID and seeing what happened with our family members. And so for me spiritually, I don't feel like I've been rocked, right? Not
Okay.
not me specifically, but it's not, I'm not being arrogant, but I'd like to say I'm different than most. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not a lot of stuff that can just shake me,
Yeah, but I
especially
think so. It sounds like though, and correct me if I'm wrong. He
yeah,
taught you your weather in the storm zone
yeah,
during that time. That makes
yep,
sense.
yep. He gave me
Where,
perspective on it before it really hit right. It had hit the fan, but he
yep.
gave me perspective to know that there's more. There's
Right.
all going. It's always going to be more. So it can make me. It will give me the ability to be the anchor in a family when needed.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. And
Now,
that's fair. That's fair. But the thing to be you got to be careful of is also knowing when the anchor also needs to grieve or hurt or
yep.
go through your process as well. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Sometimes as men, we're just so busy trying to make sure that we're that anchor or that beacon of light, or really just unemotional is what it turned out to be. Like,
Yep.
how can we just be so solid that
Yeah.
everybody, how can we be the land that our family stand on? You get what
Yep.
I'm saying? And
Yep.
but we got to be careful. I personally feel like we need to also feel.
Yeah.
Um, if not, we're gonna explode, bro. We're gonna
Yeah.
explode.
Yep. Because I mean, I tell you, man. At first, I felt, due to my role as the anchor, I felt like I didn't have the space or time to grieve and
Okay.
over any of this, and I can count. So I think, and it's crazy. I just thought of this. I think I cry meticulously, right? I even have an approach to my crying. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
that's you sound like a robot, bro.
I
What do you
know,
mean?
and I'll be honest, I am robotic in a lot of ways. You know what I'm saying? But like, so at the funeral, right? And now keep in mind, it's anchor, 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 right? I'm
Yeah.
anchor mode.
Yeah.
Whoever need me, somebody fall out, I'm gonna catch them. Somebody need a shoulder, I got them.
Right.
But when I walked in the funeral home and I saw her, and
Mm-hmm.
that's when it hit me because it got so real. It got so real in
Yep.
that moment. But even in that moment, it was still a suppressed. It was a suppressed grief, right?
Yep.
Um, and so, but I, still walk through it. Now, this past Sunday, now these are the moments that I cry recklessly.
Mm-hmm.
It's during church or just a moment with God. And it
Understood.
don't be I'm just not a big on crying out of sadness. I mainly cry over moments with God when He's showing me, yo, I got something for you. I'm about
Okay.
to drop this on you. That's what really overwhelmed me because I feel so unworthy. And He's still like, yo, but trust me, I'm gonna drop this on you. You know
Oh
what I'm saying?
wow. Okay.
And
Okay.
that's those so this grief isn't it doesn't turn into me holding in grief or suppressing grief. It turns into a real moment with God where He's like, yo, I know you going through it, and you not once raised your name and your mouth against me. You never try to forsake me with your mouth. You never tried to uh you never showed disbelief. And I
Yep.
almost feel like, it's, when we reach that moment, He's like, yo, I got you. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. No,
um
that's a dope perspective because he do has us and right now it seemed like a moment when the country need him the most again because man the pandemic ain't going away, man. Like I
yeah,
really don't want to talk about it a whole lot, but man,
yeah,
what do you
man.
think of this new variant, man? I mean, I'm looking at this and I'm like, jeez,
So man, um man,
Omicron,
so yeah,
Omicron, how you pronounce
Omicron. Right. So I was about to say that. I don't know.
Omicron? Omi?
Right, and it's always these crazy names that they give to it. Like Omnicron is supposed to be some alien that never touched it. I haven't really read too much into it yet, and I'm
Yeah.
guilty of that. Like, so another transparency moment. When this pandemic first hit, me and you like went back and forth
Oh
because
yeah,
I underestimated it, and you were like, "Nah, you really need to take this serious." And I was like, "Man, the flu, blah, blah, blah." And here we are, 2 years later, right? And
that's
we still experience.
crazy. I would have never thought it was gonna be this long. I'm gonna tell you that.
Yeah. Yeah, for
It's
sure.
definitely tested everything in me though.
Yep.
Some days I feel like the rapture is gradually happening. Sometimes I feel like the vaccine is the mark of the beast.
Right.
5G. I done spent my time being every single person in this scenario you can be, man, to
Yep.
Republican to Democrat to because it's everything. It's
Every
literally I've never seen something test us on so many levels all at once.
yeah.
It's changing the way we go to school, changing the way we work. It's changed everything, and I think it's changed everything forever, to be honest. So
Yeah. And these it's crazy. This one, like you said, is everything, and it could split households at different points.
yeah.
Whether
Can
you
you guys
disagree.
hear me?
Yeah, we can. BK, what
Look
up?
who it is.
Oh
Look
my
who it
gosh, I
is.
didn't. I'm over here listening to you guys talk, and I'm like, they can't hear me. Damn it! I'm supposed to be done with
Well,
this.
welcome to God Made Dirt, BK
Right.
baby.
BK, we live. What
I'm
up?
back. I'm back.
That
There it is.
there it
There it
is,
is.
man. See, there it is. So, like we was telling y'all, we have been experiencing technical challenges today. Like this software that we use to do this, we've used this thing a million times and
Yep.
have never had issues
Yep.
using it. Well, not never. I say it's been quite some time and we had them today, but we definitely glad to have you on, BK. They can hear you, they can't see you, but they can hear you. And it's gonna be good enough for this episode because we got
Right.
so many more.
So we got to call in. We got to
Yep.
call in. We ain't seen you in a minute. You done
Yep.
traveled the world. Get us caught up. Where you been? What you been up to since the last time we spoke?
Okay, well, let me see. I've been to Columbia, South Carolina. I've been to Paris, France.
Nice.
I've been to Cancun, Mexico. I'll be going to England in February, and then in April I'll be on my way to Italy.
Gee,
Wow. Wow.
gee. Yeah, that's crazy, man. So what's up? Why you traveling so much? What's out there?
I feel like he wants me to see so many different things, and it's been really amazing just because in my travels I've realized just how much we've been lied to as a people
Huh?
Mm.
in the United States,
Huh? How
and
so?
just how new the US really is in comparison to other places.
So let's get back to how we've been lied to. How so? Let's dig into that a little bit. What do you mean by that?
As far as black people, we've been lied to,
Okay.
hoodwinked, and bamboozled. I'm telling you, it's not like that. It's not what they feeding us here. It's not the truth. It's not the real.
Mm.
Huh.
Like
So
they
what's
making it seem like black folks and brown folks are minorities. And yes, here in the US we are, and they like to keep it that way. But when you start to travel, you realize, "Oh no. We're the majority.
mm,
Mm.
We're the majority in some other places that you go to. Race is not a thing." And you
Like
can
where?
tell just by the in Paris for one,
Okay.
Paris, I was really surprised to see that race really was not a thing. The way that they look at you, the way that they talk to you, race is like the last thing. You can see it in the way they communicate with each other out there.
wow.
And social media is big here. Like every place I went to in Paris, there would be groups of people of all ages. They were not on their phones. Their
Mm.
phones could be on the table next to them in their purse or whatever. It would ring. They wouldn't even bother to answer it. They're really like just talking to each other, enjoying the moment, living in that experience. And everything else just kind of fades in the background. And I'm
Mm.
like, whereas here, we're constantly on our phones. You'll see us on our phones more out at a restaurant than any place else. And it's like we're not talking to each other. It's like we're constantly trying to get to the next best thing or the
Mm.
next thing coming. And there, it's like they're living in the moment.
Huh.
It's,
Uh,
Wow.
it's
I,
really
so
different.
so let me ask you this. Now that you've had this, because I know traveling really expands the mind, right? And now that you've been exposed to more, has it changed your faith any?
Mm. That's a great question.
Yeah, it's actually strengthened my faith. It's made me just realize like what he tells us is real. It's true. And out here in the US, I've never met more people who were faithless.
Hmm.
Like they didn't practice religion or anything like that. They're kind of like just giving up or their faith is secondary.
Mm.
They want to experiment with everything, whereas every place else is like they're solid in it. They embrace it, they put it out loud. It's not an issue.
You think it's because of the privilege in this country? Like, United States supposed to be the most one of the most developed countries in the world. And maybe, the ability to become obsessed and addicted to basically whatever out there, and not have to, it leaves less bandwidth for a relationship with God if you don't prioritize it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm realizing they see they see the US kind of like a shiny brand new penny. And realistically it is in the larger scheme of things. Like you go to these other countries, these countries are old and you can see it. They're well developed. And
Uh,
when you come back to the US, you're like, wow, you don't realize just how young it is until you come back. So
Yeah.
we're the new kid on the block.
Still.
The
wow.
new kid on the block with these shiny new ideas, and everybody's trying to come here for a sense of freedom since that's what it's supposed to be told.
Wow.
US has all this freedom, but
Right. We still
it really
figuring it
is
out.
like the Sodom and Gomorrah of the whole thing. Like we're the bad kid. We're trash in comparison to every place else.
What's crazy is we're supposed to be declared the leader of the free world. And
Well, so that's what make us so to our defense, we got a lot of free thinkers. A lot of countries you have to practice certain religions.
right,
Here you open to be, it's your choice. You know what I
right.
mean?
The democracy here and
It's
not
yeah,
dictatorship.
it's exactly. And so that goes into play a little bit. I want to give us a little slack on that.
Right, for sure. But I mean, you would never let a baby or the new penny lead the way. You know what I'm saying? And that's
Right.
why it's
Mhm.
interesting to hear that perspective.
Interesting.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
because you hear places like Asia, you hear about their technology is more advanced than ours. So what exactly are we more advanced in other than our ability to free think and free, right, freedom of speech, freedom to bear arms and
Well,
freedom of religion, that kind of stuff. Is
so
it that we're more
it's
developed in?
well, and then we take the best of the best of the best from each country, and we let them in, or we bring them over, whether it be because
Right.
of Hollywood or sports or whatever it is. We're a melting pot, so we getting, you know what I mean? Like we
Yeah.
really don't have an identity in that way. It's just America is all these people from all these countries that Anyway,
Yep. So BK and all your traveling in this time uh since our last episode, what's been the biggest challenge? What's been the biggest challenge for you?
Biggest challenge, honestly, is wanting to come back home
mm,
Home
wow,
meaning.
to the U.S.
Mm,
It's like I want to see more. I want to know more because I feel like I've been hoodwinked in a sense.
mm,
Like it's refreshing to go someplace and have people stand on their faith
mm,
and be okay with it. Like to be open about it and it not be an argument per se. It's like, oh, Christian, you Catholic. Oh, it's Sunday. No, I got to go to church this morning. Like even if they're out there doing bad, they know on Sunday I'm going to church. Somebody says a good word um, to them, they follow it up, amen, like openly,
so you
and
went to
it's
church while you were
okay.
out there?
What's that?
You went to church while you were out there in one of the countries?
No, I did
Oh, okay.
not.
So
I did not.
I guess what did you see that shows you that they wore their faith on their sleeve like that? Like what did you see? What were the signs? What did you pick up on specifically?
Well, one would be the Jewish star or the Christian cross or wearing of prayer beads, how they greeted each other and departed each other when they would say things. It was more in what they said than idols of any sort.
Mm,
Yeah, there were some religions that had idols or whatnot, but for the most part, it was like they were separated by not even separated. It was almost like it was self segregation based upon your religion. So you develop community. But
mm.
you had no problem dealing with somebody else when it came to commerce that was in a different religion.
yeah, you was there. You was out there that long enough to pick up on that.
Yeah. For me, it was
Where
really
was
eye opening initially.
this? Was France?
Yes, in
Mm,
Paris.
Okay.
mm.
Wow, and it's crazy when you think Paris and France, you think romance. I think art and
Yes.
romance.
Yeah, art and romance.
Yeah,
I get
not
that.
necessarily Christianity or any religion.
It's definitely romantic just because of the architecture. Like everything took time for them to build and just
Mm,
the detail they took in architecture. And it really gave you a presence of this place is old. Like majority of the streets were cobblestone, but the cobblestone was still in good condition. The
mm,
place was clean, which was surprising, but you could tell it was old and they did not destroy old structures to make new living.
Mm,
It wasn't like, well, let's tear down or redevelop. It's like, okay, well, if we're going to redevelop something, we're going to call it a different district and we'll move it away from old Paris. So now you got financial district, which looked dirty to me because it looked like the US. It was just high rises and skyscrapers and just cold. Whereas everything else, it was like, this is old. This has been lived in.
mm.
yeah, that's crazy, man. Yeah, man. So, hey, yo, this is God Made Dirt. We back at it. This is the catch up episode where we getting ready to do what it is we got to do to make the greatest show we can for you guys. The objective is to get you behind the curtain of religion so that we can talk about some of the real stuff. We're everyday believers. We make mistakes. We're from the dirt. He made it. What's up? What's up, Bleedo? What's next? Where we at?
Yeah, so that's speaking of, and I'm gonna ask both of y'all this. I'll answer this as well. But you, Tarmel, what is God made dirt? What does that mean to you specifically?
Yeah. So first of all, we're from the dirt, right? We made of it. Um, from the dirt we came, to the dirt we shall return, right? Flesh. Um, it's where he designed us. It's his canvas. It's also the dark spots. You get what I'm saying? That we have in our lives. It's the dirt. It's the stuff that we want to hide or get rid of. But the truth is we never can, because it's what gives us character. It's what makes us us. And so to me, this is a play on, it's a double entendre, if you will. It's the opportunity to take the weaknesses and make them our strengths and not let them be. Hopefully, we I hope what people get from this is that they don't let their dirt make them prisoners. I don't want us, because we all have it. So hopefully through this show, there's freedom, there's laughter, and to me, that's what God made dirt is.
For sure, that's dope. What about you, BK? What is God made dirt? What does that mean to you?
To me, it's almost literal and figurative at the same time. It's like he made the dirt that you go through in life, the muck, the challenges, anything that you would consider a sin that you would wear as even a robe of sorts. He made that to make you better.
Hmm.
He didn't want you to just lie around in the filth, but don't be ashamed of it, because it's supposed to mold you into where you're supposed to be and
Hmm.
who you're supposed to be, because he had a purpose for everything, no matter how dirty it is.
Right.
No
So
That's
don't
doubt.
be
super dope.
ashamed.
That's
Marcel
super
B,
dope.
the MC. What does it mean to you, bro?
Man, y'all gave such great answers. It's hard to follow those. So I just try to think of something as y'all talk while I actively listen. But so you think about it as a kid when you go outside and play in the dirt, right? Um, After you play with the dirt, your hands are covered in it, right? So you think about God's hands going down to form us in the clay in the dirt. Yeah, he had to have dirt on his hands after he did that. And to me, that was a foreshadow of, hey, no matter how much dirt you have, my hands are always on it.
Mm,
That same dirt that's on you, it's on me.
mm,
You know what I'm saying?
mm,
So I truly think that he sets priority to be involved in our mess than our triumphs and our accolades and our our goals that we accomplish. I think he thrives in our mess, in our dirt, right? Because when we say God made dirt, dirt is us, God made us. So that's what essentially God made dirt means. It means he
mm,
made us. He
mm.
made us, right?
Wow.
And
Wow.
so, he'll constantly keep his hands in the dirt.
Mm,
Constantly. And so if you could learn to just get a new perspective on your failures, your mistakes, your pride, all this stuff that you feel is dragging you down. And isn't that ironic that the dirt is low to the ground and whenever you're held back it's dragging you down, right?
mm,
And it's perspective, right? If you can just get new perspective on your own dirt, then we know that this show is simply doing this job. But that's what God made dirt is to us, man. You
yeah,
know?
that's live. Now I'm gonna ask y'all for confessions before
Okay.
we let them go for the night.
What's
We
up?
promise to keep this one short, straight to the point.
Yep.
So I want to know a low point in your faith or spiritually for you. Um, this month we're at the end of the month now. We head into December. Um, uh, when was your faith tested, or what was a tough moment that you had to get through this month? Can anybody recall one?
I'll
Yep.
I'll go BK and I'll let
Go
you go.
ahead.
And I'll be brief. So transparent, man. This show is about transparency. my marriage has faced some challenges. It's faced some serious challenges. And what's ironic or crazy about it is I have a faith confession from Apostle Ivy Hilliard that I said every day about my marriage for about 90 days straight, right? And it was declaring, I'm talking about greatness over my marriage. I
No
even
doubt.
sowed a seed for marriage favor. And I feel like in the day after I sowed this seed for marriage favor, it exploded. It was a heart wrenching back and forth with my wife and I, right?
Mm.
So you almost feel like you invited the mess on with your mouth, right? We always talk about authority and what we say, life and death and the power of the tongue. Well, what did I bring on when I was saying that every day? That's what goes through your mind. Like, dang, did I invite this in? Because sometimes you want to just coast through life with
That's it,
normal
man.
challenges,
That's yeah.
you want to coast. You don't want to. Hey, right now, I don't really want to be. I don't really want no big tasks, right? No big,
No big
challenges right
fight, no
now.
real
Yeah,
scrap.
yeah. I don't want no real scrap. I don't want no real smoke right now. You know what I'm
Nah, I
saying?
don't want no
Not right
smoke.
now. But I felt like it was like, man, I must have invited this on, and so it was you find yourself deciding or faced with the decision of, did I cause this for a bad reason, or did I really bring, like, did it, like exfoliant? You think about exfoliant on the skin, it has those bees in them. As you rub on it, that don't feel good, but it's getting that dead skin and shaking that loose. So that was mine. That was definitely the most challenging, and God is navigating us through it.
No doubt.
Honestly,
No
even
doubt.
after that,
Thanks for sharing that one, bro. I
for
know that
sure,
one was personal.
for sure.
BK.
Whew. I'm not. I'm like, let me pick and choose. I
Hmm.
have a bucket of things, um, but
Hmm.
I'd have to say the most recent that's been on my mind is, as you guys know, I turned 40 this year.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm single. I don't have any children.
and ready to mingle.
Um, this has been the one thing since I was a child that I always wanted. It wasn't to be a doctor, a lawyer, like whatever I knew I was going to do as a profession, I was going to do well.
Hmm.
But what I wanted was to be a wife and a mom.
Hmm.
So at reaching 40, I'm like, what am I supposed to do? How is this supposed to look? Like what can I do? I'm fixing and improving on my life continuously. What more do you want from me?
Hmm.
Like, is it that I'm not thin enough? Am I not tall enough? Did I do my hair wrong by going the route of having sister locks? Like, should I cover my gray even though, I'm getting older now? I should probably be embracing it, all these things. And I'm just like, what more do you want from me?
Wow.
And
Wow.
then I started dating this guy who's younger than me and start realizing it felt familiar. It
Hmm.
felt like my first college boyfriend.
Hmm.
And even though at that time I wasn't ready for what it was that he was giving me, it was like, okay, well, are you going to self sabotage something that God could be bringing back around to you today because that's what you want, what that man was showing you, but just today?
Hmm.
So are you going to self sabotage that because what, this guy's not tall enough? He doesn't make enough money. Like he's not ringing all those boxes. So it's like, am I getting in my own way?
Hmm.
Or if he's telling me this is not it yet? And so I had to reach a point within myself that's like, you know what? If it never happens with you, will you be okay with it?
Hmm.
If none of
Wow.
the one thing that you wanted for yourself, will you be okay with it?
Wow.
Because God's working a greater deed in you. But I know if he's supposed to give you the desires of your heart, and this is the one thing you've desired since a child and it has not wavered, it will happen, but
Hmm.
at his time. Trust the
Right.
process that he has for your life. And it's like I have to continuously tell myself that and not to rush to decisions because when I rush and do things for me, I find out God had other plans and I'm constantly delaying my progression in life. And I don't want to do any more delays because reality is time is not in my favor. So I have to get out of my own way.
Mm.
And that's the
Wow.
hard part because I'm like, Holy Spirit, I need you to show me how to do this. Because if I didn't know I was in my way before, how am I supposed to know if I'm in my way now? What am
Mm.
I supposed to do? So
Right.
I just
Right.
have to call out for him.
Man, what Abraham was how old when he finally got that first one? You know?
I don't know.
So
Was it like 200? I don't know. I could be wrong.
yeah, but basically, man, like that's what I heard when you said it'll still happen in God's timing. You know, I think 40 is real. I'll be 40 in a few weeks, and it's getting real.
Yeah.
But I think we tell ourselves that 40 is that's 40 is almost the end when it's not even halfway, you know?
True.
So it's about perspective, man. But I'm in agreement
Me too.
um for
Me
you to
too.
for
Because
you to get
you
the
deserve it.
desires of your heart, BK, for sure. Because that's
Mhm.
a real moment to have to decide, and say, well, if it never happens, can you deal with that? Like that's real. That's real as you
Yeah.
get. What about you, Tarmel, man? That's tough.
Yeah, that's a tough act to follow, man. And I'm wishing you the best on that one. And I also appreciate the transparency there.
For
I mean,
sure.
he says this is God made dirt, people. This is it. This is the conversation that we need to be having with each other and sharing these emotions because we all feel the same way at some point. You know what I mean? Like for me, now that I'll be honest, one of the things that turned me off in the past was church hurt.
Mm,
And the way it happened was I gave myself to the media ministry. I'm a media guy, 110%, just so that things didn't go the way, it didn't go in my favor in the end, and it burnt me really bad. It got really close to a pastor, and it kind of it burnt me in a certain way. It turned me off a lot, and
wow.
so I never really wanted to serve in ministry again in that capacity, right? And so um, it's crazy because now that we have the studio and have the resources to give, immediately I want to give back to the church. And
Hmm.
so now I'm dealing with that whole thing again. And it's like, you're sitting with pastors and you're listening to them, and sometimes they got to sell you. They got to
Right.
market. They got to
All
get
right. The
what they need
business.
out of you just to, you know what I mean? They trying to get
Yeah.
it. And I'm sitting there and I'm fighting it like, man, I know you selling me right now. You know what I'm saying? And because I've been burnt, bro,
Right.
really
Right.
get
Right.
really, you know what I mean? Like I'd rather you just keep it a buck than try to sell me I've been there already, bro. Like,
Right.
I'm a 20-year vet in the game. What are you doing here? Right. And
Right.
so spiritually, that's probably one of my biggest challenges right now is because I got to stay in the servant posture, and I know why we doing it. But church folks, the ones just want to get over the most, bro, and it really bothers me, man. It really bothers me.
Man, well, we definitely appreciate that transparency as well, man. Because trust me, nobody wants to be man. I don't know what it is, man. Why it feels worse to get got by the church than it does some cat on
Oh
the street.
man,
You know what I'm
I
saying? I
know.
don't know why. Like it
Because
No,
your
just feels.
defenses are down.
Yeah, yeah. And it's crazy. My pastor spoke on church hurt this past Sunday, and he said exactly like you said, your defenses are down, so you feel like it should never come from that direction. You
Hmm.
know, you dare to be vulnerable, and you feel like you protect it. And when somebody offends you in such a way, especially at church, you feel so blindsided that it can really sting, man. That's crazy. But like I said, man, I'm in agreement that you stay steadfast, bro.
oh yeah,
Because you're being used, it's obvious. You know what I'm saying? You're being used in the right way, kingdom purpose, and it's gonna be super dope, man. But man, like we promised the people who weren't gonna take a lot of their time.
so let's
Um,
do it. Let's get out of here.
be on the lookout for so much more with God Made Dirt. Shout out to Money Mike. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to
Trying
Money
to tap
Mike.
in.
Yeah, he gonna be
I know where you're at.
he gonna be tapping in too moving forward. Y'all gonna see us on a regular basis moving forward. We
No,
promise. You know what
no
I'm
doubt,
saying? It's
man.
going down. Make sure y'all hit up at Merlot Shades on Instagram, at Ambassador Studios, man. Ambassador Studios. That's the new home. But of course, Shout out to Nice Media for sure, because that's family, man. Shout out to Peaches. Shout out to Pastor B.
Hopefully Pastor B be pulling up on us as well.
For sure, for sure.
So we can tap in with the studio over there as well. So
yep, we're gonna dive into some things. And man, before we get out of here, I just want to leave the people with something, man, because it hit my heart. And I just wanted to share this. So I got a song on the album, another shameless plug, called The Process, right? And I just wanted to share some of the lyrics, man, because I hope it provides some hope for somebody out there. But check it out. I say, it ain't really about what happened. It ain't really about the past. The penalty is wasted time, hoping it will last. I'm disappointed, holding back tears. I just laugh. I'm hoping for a word to illuminate the path. I'm confused on the purpose of the pain. What's the logic? If God seen it come and tell me why he didn't stop it, like a wall to the rocket. 2020 was shocking. Storm still brewing, boat still rocking. My mama lost a close friend to COVID. I just held her. I couldn't find the words or a scripture I could tell her. Her cries in the silence was the worst a cappella. When your people gone, ain't no vaccine to make it better. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, it's hard to fear no evil with no family left. And when tragedy hits and them casualties stack, pray send us our reality back. I wish I could take the pain away. If we can make it through the night, there's a brighter day. Everything will be right if you hold on. It's a struggle every day. You got to roll on. So roll on. I wish I could take the pain away. If we can make it through the night, there's a brighter day. Everything will be all right if you hold on. It's a struggle every day. You got to roll on. So roll on. GMD, it's all on us.
I
know.